kind of saved him. They didn't stone him and kill him because he was surrounded by the multitude. What do you think that means?
Do you know the verse where that's located?
He was saved. This is where he was about ready.
Yeah, I kind of vaguely remember it, but I can't.
Can I look it up and come back?
Well, no, because I don't think I'll have an answer for it. But it's just the circumstances of that particular event, and I'm not sure.
Several times.
I've never thought that it's spiritually mean. Of course, it does, but I've never understood it or tried to.
Do you think
to see what it was pointing to?
By any chance, it could be pointing to it. I know you're probably gonna say no, and I probably shouldn't ask. But do you think, by any chance, it could mean that the multitude could be any religious person that believe on God?
Well,
Could that be the multitude?
Yeah, multitude, we have to keep in mind, is not always the great multitude of elect. Gog and Magog. Magog was a multitude of unsaved that were marshaled together to come against the camp of the saints. And just look at the corporate church today. There's almost 2 billion professed Christians. That's a tremendous number.
Do you think that he might, I'm sorry to cut you off, but do you think that he might in any way use like the church or the people who are professing Christians to protect his elect in any sense?
Well, God can see. It's too general.
World.
It's too general a question. It's too big without a verse. So we know God will protect His people, and spiritually we have perfect protection. But as far as physically, it's possible that any one of us could be harmed or killed. We don't know what's in store that way. God may allow that and does allow that. His elect are in many countries and many dangerous places, and some of them are murdered. Some of them are slain somehow or have an accident. And see, God's protection, though, the real protection is through salvation, and that's where we have our eternal security. And if we have that, then we have everything. Now, God, of course, still looks out for His people, and we know that God has a will and a purpose for each one of us. And so He'll make sure that will and purpose gets done.
No matter how He gets it done.
And so we don't know, like, for instance, how long we're going to live. The Bible's giving an indicator of a timeline, and it's off in the distance, about 15 years. It may be half of us are not alive in the year 2033, or maybe most of us are that are here in this room. We don't know. All we know is that we have today. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. We have life today. We're one of God's people, and we're to serve Him today. And so far, He's met our needs today, and as it says in Matthew 6.
I was just wondering, because He was saved by the multitude in that situation, could it kind of be pointing to us today, and maybe somehow He is using those religions and peoples and religious sects to protect His elect?
Well, okay. I think I see. I think I see more of the direction of your question. Mm-hmm. We do know that that Satan's kingdom is under attack by a multitude. Mm-hmm. There's a multitude on this side and a multitude on that side. It's the people of the world against the people of the world, and they're doing or accomplishing the will of God in bringing this division to Satan's kingdom or to this world, because it's fulfilling God's judgment upon it. And in some ways, that is helpful. Well, if it's helpful to God and His kingdom, it's also helpful to us. But it's just too much for us. We're little tiny,
Right.
finite creatures, and your question is sort of like going behind the scenes at the infinite mind of God as He
That he
controls
might be
all
using
these
the
things.
professing Christians to protect his elect.
Well, professing Christians.
That's what I'm saying. Those who identify.
No, I didn't say professing Christian. Just man. Just man.
Okay.
Not that He would use them so much to protect us, but to accomplish His will.
Okay, but you don't feel like he's using
I-
the religious sect in any sense of the word to sort of protect us in this day. and age.
Well, who's keeping law and order?
God.
Right, but we're also in a city, in a state, in a country. There's still police. There's still soldiers. The vast majority of them are unsaved,
Yes.
and there's a government in control of it all.
Right.
Vast majority of them are unsaved.
That's correct.
So there's still order. That's why we never say God completely lifts His hand to restraint. He's just taking it back more and more and more. And society is chaotic, but still God is working through government to allow some order, or the things that He desires to accomplish cannot get done because God is not interested in man physically going at each other's throats.
Yeah.
No, it's a spiritual judgment on the world, and so in order to have society function to some degree, there has to be some order, and that order is by government, and government is under God. So yes, God is protecting His people in that way.
Okay.
But thank